All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here to Virtual Racing Network on a Tuesday night. We are set here for some very good racing, because why not? It's Bristol, baby. We're going to have some fantastic racing. We got about 17 drivers that have entered so far. Some more are still coming in. They're fixing to do a pit party as they're gritting up there a little bit. So before we get to all of the racing details there, hopefully the internet does hang in there with us, as we've had a few connection issues. We want to go over all the sponsors and partners that make this race possible. Coming with a new one here today, Lake Erie Entertainment. So head on over there and check them out. You can give them a call right there on your screen as a general sponsor here for tonight's race. And of course, your presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, that is Leo's Coney Island out of Rochester Hills. Make sure you head on over there, and if nothing else, pick you up some really good food, and definitely give them a shout out and a thank you for doing what they do here to sponsor this race. Can't forget iRacing Drivers World as a general sponsor here for tonight's race. If you are an iRacer, you need to go head over to that page and join that group. A really good group, almost 8,000 members and growing every day. We may hit 8,000 if they haven't already if you join. So head on over there, post all your pictures, videos, comments, questions, whatever it may be on iRacing Drivers World. And of course, another general sponsor here and the presenting sponsor for the Sunday series, that is Global Building Contractors. Make sure you go give these guys a shout out as well for the presenting sponsor on the Sunday Night Xfinity Series. On the broadcast side of things, we wouldn't be far if we didn't have these guys, starting with Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm. If you are a guy and you have a beard, you've got to take care of it. What better way to do so with some Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm, all natural and organic products. So head over to wallsbeardco.com and pick some up. They also have different scents to pick from, so you can grab a different scent, whichever you like. SimSpeedShop.com, your one-stop shop here for button boxes and e-brakes. So for all you rallycross racers out there, you need to head on over there and pick up one or both of these items. Again, SimSpeedShop.com. Northwest Racing Series. Again, we've been talking about them quite a bit. That schedule is getting closer and closer to being done. We will resume racing with the Xfinity on Monday night and trucks on Thursday, if those are the days that officially get settled on. That is being voted on right now by the drivers, so stay tuned for that. We'll get you the latest information on our Facebook and, of course, on the YouTube page. They are also the one-to-go sponsor here, so later on tonight, when you see the white flag waving, it is presented by Northwest Racing Series. Ohio IndyCar League. If you're looking to get into some IndyCar racing, why not head over to one of the best on here? That is Ohio IndyCar League. You can also get all the latest information at facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphic source. If you're looking to get into broadcasting or just looking to have some overlays made for streaming, head over to ibog.co and get a hold of Jason Allison. And, of course, Randy's Wraps. Hopefully we'll have time for a pre-race interview here coming up shortly. If not, the post-race show will be presented by Randy's Wraps, so hopefully we can get a pre-race interview here presented by Randy's Wraps. If you're looking for a really nice paint job for a really great price, head on over to Facebook and just type in Randy's Wraps, and you will see it taken directly to their page. That being said, it is that time once again where we like to introduce our second chair here for tonight's race, and that is, as always, the one and only, and we've referring to him as the champion here for this week. That is Jeff Stabnell. So Jeff, welcome back to the booth once again.
Hey, thanks for having me again, Charles. And you know, that introduction never gets old when you use the word champion. So appreciate that, man. That. Oh, I'm just kidding, man. Just glad to be here. We're at Bristol, man. We are in for a heck of a night. These RACECORE guys, just fantastic group of guys, very respectful crew here. And Bristol is going to put that to the test, right? These guys race each other with a ton of respect, but man, it is tough to keep your cool here at Bristol. Short track racing at its finest.
Yeah, it definitely is. Again, this track, 0.533 miles. It is a tiny little track, but believe me, you will see a ton of action on it here. Again, 17 drivers have registered for the race. We'll see if any more do connect, but we'll go ahead and go through your VRN pre-race analyst here. 5 miles per hour wind out of the northeast, partly cloudy. Obviously, it's a night race. That's the only way to do Bristol here, is do it a night race under the lights. It's going to be an interesting one. Only 84 degree track temperature, so not too terribly hot for 200 laps. We put 107 miles. It's really 106.6 miles, but close enough to 107. We just went ahead and rounded it there up just a little bit, but well over. We have many more laps than we actually do miles because it's such a short track.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do a lap here in about 16 seconds. 15 seconds, 16 seconds, and we'll get a little bit on the tires. We'll see hot laps here probably in the mid-15s, or actually maybe even high 14s. I mean, that's 4 distinct corners. I know it looks like 2, but this track's got progressive banking. And that means it's real hard to get into the corner. Car wants to get loose on you if you take the wrong line. Car wants to push tight if you take the wrong line. You're running right up against that wall because that's the most banking on the track and where you can carry the most speed coming down that straightaway. And, you're doing that 14 seconds, 15 seconds, even up to 16-second laps, 4 times a minute. You get dizzy here almost. It's not quite dizzy, but you lose your orientation. You forget which side of the track you're on. You don't remember, where am I, by the starting finish line, or so it's crazy, man. It's just like driving around the inside of a Cheerio as fast as you can.
It really is. And speaking of get around this track fast, we'll talk about our tire and fuel window here. Very far apart for that matter. So assuming we stay green, tire window 15 to 20 laps. That's, a good tire run. However, the fuel run, 70 to 75 laps. So if this does go green, Jeff, you obviously are the more of the race analyst here for us, as you obviously drive a little bit more. What can we expect if we go a full 75 laps on a fuel run here for these tires? Obviously, we're going to have some tire wear, but you've been around this track, so how much is that wear going to play into potentially seeing some spins?
Yeah, so this track, and of course I'm not out there right now, so I'm not sure how those tires are wearing, but typically fresh tires will let you run a lower line for maybe 10 laps, give or take 5. Might be 15 laps, might be 5 laps. After that, you're not going to make any hay unless you're up there up against the wall, unless somebody's just really slow and you can shoot off the inside there, but you just can't carry enough speed down the straightaway on the inside line to clear anybody and pull up. So it usually makes for a lot of differing strategies. A lot of times you'll have guys that are in the back stay out, get that track position, cycle up front. You'll even have leaders stay out front on old tires. They'd rather be out front and be slow because they know that at most only a couple cars are going to pass them, or maybe they can even hold them off, as opposed to going in and get tires. By the same token, the last time we were here with these RACECORE guys, I believe, was in the Xfinity cars, and we said watch for guys to stay out and get track position, and I think most of this crew was pitting a lot. So I think we're in for a mixed bag. I think you're going to see guys pitting. I think you're going to see guys staying out. Somebody wants track position. Somebody wants fresh tires. And it's going to be a little tough to keep track of all the strategy. We know that we can go about 70 to 75 laps on a tank of fuel. So ideally, if this went green, you'd split this up into about 65, 70 lap segments and pit, around 65, 70 laps, split the segments up equal. But I think we're going to get all kinds of guys going on all kinds of different cycles.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And speaking of cycles here, there's nobody putting a cycle on the track, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to run through our point standings real fast for us here, as we're still having an issue with the overlays not wanting to pull numbers. But right now, Jamir Muhammad is your points leader right now with 633 points. Right behind him is Mikey Neal with 579 points. Alex Huffman with 505 points. Justin Starr currently 499 points, and Austin Edstrom with 453 points. And I actually don't see Austin Edstrom here tonight. He may be having to work again. To round out the rest of your top 10 right now, it is Bryson Barker, James Zarello, Dan Butler, Brian Dorsey, and Dennis Ellis. Those are your top 10 in point standings right now. To go a little bit deeper here, 11th place, James Morgan. 12th place, John Van Varelis. 13th, Roger Muth. 14th, Jack Fellers, who I do believe is here tonight. I thought I saw him anyway. Yep, he is indeed ninth fastest right now. 15th is Jeremy Evans. 16th, Cody Levitt. And 17th, Jared Hagedorn. 18th, Mike Rigney. 19th, Chris Brown. And 20th, gaining one spot after last week, passing Craig Covington. That is Brian Bizzle to take 20th spot right now here in the point standings. We got some really good battles going on, especially here. I'm looking at 10th place right now. So we're looking at 10th and 11th. Dennis Ellis and James Morgan currently, if I'm doing the math here, there it is, 383 to 363. So they very well could change some positions here.
Yeah, we've got, I mean, there's a lot of tight battles in here. And again, we don't, we know we've talked about this. I think they've got 4 or 5 drops in this league. I can't remember. I should remember. So with 15 starts, the points maybe aren't reflective of what we see. But if we just take them at face value, we've got Jeremy Evans, Jack Fellers, and Roger Muth, each 1 point apart. 335, 336, 337. And I don't know that Jack Fellers or Jeremy Evans are here tonight. So, Jeremy Evans is here. So, yeah, we've got that tight battle. We've got some tighter battles higher up. Justin Starr in 4th place with 499. Only 6 points behind Alex Huffman, who's in 3rd place with 505. Bryson Barker, 3 points behind Austin Edstrom. So, yeah, lots of battles throughout the standings.
Yeah, there are a lot of battles here. And we got about just under 8 minutes left to go here before we get going. So, of course, while we have a little bit of downtime here, per se, as they're not on the track right now, and they're actually in a driver's meeting, so we can't talk to a driver at the moment. A few things we, of course, want to do. As always, we want to thank all the fans out there for tuning in here for tonight's race. We're glad you chose to join us here. Again, it's Tuesday night, so we're always glad to have you here every night of the week. We are at Bristol Motor Speedway here, the last great Coliseum. It's going to be a very good race. So, again, if you are new here tonight, have never hit that subscribe and little bell to be notified of all the races, go ahead and do so if you're going to enjoy it. I guarantee it. And as well, hit that thumbs up. Let us know, let all the other fans know, the drivers in the league know that you enjoy the racing they put on and the broadcast that we put on to cover it. That being said, it's I really do expect to see a good race here. With the 17 drivers, again, we try not to predict the cautions. Well, at least you do. I like to try to predict them anyway. But I honestly don't think we're going to see too many cautions here. I think once they get spread out, we may have some really good green flag runs.
Yeah, I'm going to take the other side of that bet just because with a 14-second lap, there really is no spread out. As soon as you start to spread the pack out, you got lap traffic. So, these guys, actually, the last one we watched with the Xfinity Series, they had a real clean race here. They didn't have a lot of cautions. I was actually, a little surprised. I was expecting more. They had some cautions, but it wasn't a ton. It wasn't, a whole bunch. Not that would surprise me, but these, like I said, these guys are pretty respectful drivers here. They really do drive very, very respectful in this league of each other. So probably a few less cautions than most of your leagues would have at a track like this. But man, it's Bristol. It is just too hard to get by somebody. There's no room to really get spread out. I'm going to expect 6, 7 cautions tonight, maybe more, Charles.
Well, it will be definitely interesting to find out which one of our predictions does play out here. We'll definitely be paying attention for that. We'll see. I don't think we're going to see too many commercial breaks here, even if we do have quite a few cautions. just because the cautions around this track take so little time. By the time we watch the replay, we just won't have time, as we'll be covering it here. Quite opposite of a super speedway like we have on Friday nights, where you go under caution, you're there for like 5-6 minutes or more. Here, cautions may last only a couple of minutes because of how quickly they get around here, even under caution speed. And what you're really going to have to pay attention to is one thing we didn't talk about yet, is coming onto pit road. I think with everybody here, we should be on one side, so I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. But 20 or more cars, and you really have to start paying attention as to which side of pit road to come in.
Yeah, we're at less than 20 cars, so unless we got a bunch of guys showing up here at the last minute, I think we're all right on that. But one of the things we'll talk about a little bit, since they're still in that driver's meeting here, is pit road. Because the laps are so quick, you don't have much time, especially if you're at the back of the pack. Knowing that these guys are gonna, about 30 seconds or so. So if you're carrying a bunch of damage, and these guys don't have a fast repair, and they will get damaged, guys are gonna run into the rear of each other. When you're running that single line around the wall, guys are gonna hit the wall, guys are gonna get in the back of each other. There's just no way to avoid that. And when you're coming in and trying to get damage fixed, you really got to pay attention to where that pace car is, and not get trapped or locked down. It's real difficult. It's it's just something you've got to be aware of, and it's so easy to kind of get lulled into, okay, I got 20 seconds of damage, let's get it fixed, or so yeah, that's one of those things. Staying on the lead lap and fixing damage is a challenge.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, when we were here with the Xfinity cars, I don't remember exactly who finished in the top. I'm going to see if we can't find that real quick here. See if we can figure out where they finished when they raced at Bristol, as we are pulling up the results right now. Finishing, it was Bryson Barker that won in the Xfinity, followed by Roger Muth, Alex Huffman, Jonathan Ellis, and Cody Levitt. Actually, that is not correct. Yeah, that is correct. That is how they finished in that order. So it'll be interesting to see here how they played out, because if you're looking right now at the top here, you got James Zarello, Mikey Neal, Jameer Muhammad, Damian Leininger, and Bryson Barker. So out of the top 5, only one of those was in the top 5 in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and man, I'll tell you what, just James Zarello, heck of a lap here. You really got to hang it out there to run a good lap here. Well, I guess I don't know if that hot lap, he could have hot lapped it around the bottom, but to put in good laps here, man, you just got to have nerves of steel. You really got to sail it in up against that wall. You kind of float up a little bit in the center and then come down, and the inclination is you want to turn down and low the track because you're worried about hitting the wall and you get loose. So good to see some new faces up here at the top of the board there, James Zarello being one of them.
It definitely is, as always. We love to see them mix it up here, and we'll be going through this whole field, so we'll let you know who is starting where here momentarily. But it is that time once again, where, as always, here in the motorsports world, we love to play the national anthem. It is just part of what you do here. You honor your country. So we're going to step away. We'll be right back in just a few moments with qualifying after the national anthem.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is underway, so we are going to step down here, and it looks like the first one on the charts here we're going to see is the 99 to Justin Starr, but he's going to pull it to a stop. So we'll head over to the 3 of Damian Leininger, and we will pull up your driver information here as laps will come in very quickly.
Yeah, 13-second laps here. It really doesn't matter, first lap, second lap. You're up to speed and turning it. I think you can get it on your first lap. You can better it on your second lap if you have a bad first lap. Yeah, we should start seeing some times on the board real fast.
Yeah,
we are.
Alex Huffman at the top, 14.995, the only 14 as of now. That probably will change. Jeremy Evans, 15.112, as he will run a 119 that time, so just a little bit slower. John Van Varellis, somebody we've been talking about lately, up at the top once again with a 15.268.
Yeah, and then we got a couple guys a couple tenths slower. We got Jack Fellers, Jeremy Leininger, and Jeremy Evans all clocking in right around 15.3. Mikey Justified Neal takes it to the top now with a 14.956, so he is now the top of the board, followed by his teammate Alex Huffman with the 14.994. Roger Muth, the third teammate, briefly had it in third. Dan Butler squeaks ahead of them with a 15.158 to a 15.169.
Yes, you got a lot of times in, and of course, we do have some EOL penalties. We'll quickly see if we can figure out what we did with our information here. We'll finally figure it out what we did with it. We'll pull it.
Charles.
Yes, there we go. Okay, so there we go. We got Jeff Pogo, Jared Hagedorn, Brian Jones, James Zarello, Reese Milton, and Bryson Barker will be starting at the back with EOL penalties. So those drivers, that is why they will not be qualifying, as they are going to be starting at the back of the pack. But interesting, we still have Jameer Mohammed. He is sitting in his car. He is actually rolling out, and so is Cody Levitt now.
Yeah, we've got a couple drivers that are opting to just kind of see what times get laid down, or maybe they're getting comfortable. But Jameer Mohammed on the track, Cody Levitt on the track, and Jameer Mohammed would be somebody we would expect to see end up front there with, in that Jeremy Evans, Alex Huffman, Mikey Neal range.
Yeah, definitely expect him to. Again, I know at one point he said short tracks were not necessarily his thing, but he's showing that it doesn't matter. He's still good. 14.901. I don't know if they weren't his thing before, but it looks like they are now, as he is now .056 ahead of Mikey Neal, taking it to the top of the charts. Meanwhile, Cody Levitt takes it to 10th with a 15.359.
Yeah, we got, I'm showing Bryson Barker still hasn't taken the time yet. I don't know. I heard we had 5 drivers that had EOLs tonight.
He was indeed one of them.
Is he? Yeah, I'm seeing 6 drivers haven't taken the time, so not sure if those are the 5 or the 6 drivers there that aren't. But James Lorello mentioned in the pre-race chat that he had an EOL. I think I heard somebody say Dennis Ellis had an EOL. I'm not sure on that one with the 11. And Bryson Barker, so those are some guys we would expect to lay down some pretty decent times.
Yeah, and looking here, Dennis Ellis, I believe he did get it, but that it was in the Xfinity race, so that'll be probably next Sunday is what he was getting that one for. So everyone out here, Dennis Ellis should, in my list anyway, should be able to go out, as well as Ray Moss. So Jared Hagedorn, Bryson Barker, Jeff Pogo, and James Zarello all have EOLs for this particular race that are here. So it looks like Dennis Ellis and Ray Moss are just opting to stay at the back of this pack and try to work their way through.
Yeah, and, track position's tough here. I think it is hard to stay at the back of the pack here, right? You're not too far from going a lap down. Track position's tough. Somebody wrecks in front of you. It's so easy to collect a bunch of cars here just because we're all just crammed in there together. So not sure I would want to be at the back of the pack here. I understand, though, Bristol is a tough track to drive. If you're not comfortable running right up there against that wall, you maybe don't want to get up there in the middle of the pack. We'll see what happens. And I think Jack Fellers just joined us here.
He did. He's been in here, but he did run a qualifying lap as well. So we'll see how this all plays out. But it is that time for the Walls Beard Co. starting grid. And we only have about, 17 drivers here. So not a huge field, but it's not a huge track either. So we'll see. Jeff, you want to run through our first 4 rows here? And then I will bring us home here.
Absolutely. On your pole tonight, we've got the 14 truck of Jameer Mohammed. Outside row 1, we've got the 8 truck of Mikey Neal. Inside row 2, we've got the 83 of Alex Huffman, and outside him, we've got the 4 truck of Jeremy Evans. In row 3, we've got the 21 of Dan Butler on the inside and the 39 of Roger Muth on the outside. In row 4, the 87 of John Van Verillis on the inside. And outside of him, in P8, we've got the 48 of Jack Fellers. In row 5, we've got the 3 truck of Damian Laniger. And rounding out the top 10 there is Cody Levitt.
In row 6, going to be the 99 of Justin Starr and the 84 of Bryson Barker. First one not taking a time. Row 7 is going to be the 22 of Jeff Pogo and the 13 of James Zarello. In row 8 is going to be the 11 of Dennis Ellis and the 42 of Ray Moss. And rounding out your fields here tonight is going to be the number 2 of Jared Hagedorn on row 9. And that'll do it for the Walls Beard Co. Starting grid, as we are just about ready to get this thing going. And it looks like we got a lot more people on the inside row. I believe those are the people with EOLs that are starting on the inside there.
Yeah, EOLs are going to make you line up single file on the inside there. So looks like everybody behind Justin Starr there in the 99 is serving probably an EOL there.
It is indeed. Green flag is out. We're racing 200 laps here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And Jameer Mohammed running the high side. Everybody else running a little bit lower. We'll see how long he stays up there, as he's going to come back down here. But again, he's running a totally different line than Mikey Neal and Alex Huffman right now.
Well, the high side's where you want to be, but those first couple laps, we talked about that, maybe 10 laps or so, you can make it stick on that low line. Less banking down there. And, see that how much better of a run Jameer's getting going down the straightaway there coming off that high line. But if Mikey can get on his bumper, get into that corner, he can clear him on that low line and give him the old slide job there. The laps are ticking, right? He's on the clock for his, he doesn't have that many laps, but that's going to work down there. And pretty soon the whole crew is going to be forced up high.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we're going to keep an eye on this entire field, as he's right there still trying to make the pass. And I would imagine here probably in about 2 or 3 laps we'll be seeing him not be able to do it, as already he looks like he's backing off just a little bit. So he wants to get up there. Look a little bit further back in this field real quick. Back here about to Dan Butler, Jack Fellers, and Damian Leininger. These guys, every once in a while, they're getting side-by-side, putting on a little battle as well. As looks like the 48 of Jack Fellers is trying to get by Roger Muth, but Roger Muth doing a good job of holding him off there for a 6th position.
Yeah, we've got a light-up type battles here. Watching Bryson Barker back here in that crew as well. Justin Starr, Bryson Barker kind of moving up through the field. He's just somebody I keep an eye on in these short tracks. Bryson Barker's so good on the short tracks. He and Mikey Neal both. It's always hard to say who's good at what here because everybody's always improving in this league. These guys work so hard at it. But Bryson Barker trying to make an inside move on Justin Starr, but that inside lane looks like it's giving up the ghost of Justin Starr's just beating him down the backstretch here now.
Yeah.
Bryson Barker definitely one to watch, though.
And I want to keep an eye on all these guys back here. As you look right now, here's your leader, Jamir Muhammad, as Mikey Neal still trying to work him over down there. But look back here. By the way, Ray Moss did not start, so 16 drivers here. You look back to 16th place. That is the 11 of Dennis Ellis right now. There he is, and there's your leader. So 6 seconds right now, 6.7 seconds separating first from 16th right now. Yes, that doesn't seem like a whole lot of time. It's only 6 seconds, but when your laps are 15 seconds, they've nearly caught to them as the caution does come out. And it looks like several cars involved, and it looks like...
And Mikey Neal completes the pass just as that caution comes out, too, by the way. There was a heck of a battle up there with the 3 leaders.
We'll go back and we'll watch this replay, and then we'll go back and maybe watch that lead change as well, as we were focused on this caution when it came out. So let's go back and take a look. Jack Feller scrapes the wall, and it looks like maybe Jack Feller's just sideswiped the 3 a little bit.
Yeah, I've got to look. I'm showing Damian Leininger getting caught up in that, so that would be the 3 truck. Maybe Cody Brent Levitt a little bit too. So see what we can figure out here.
Yeah, definitely we'll go to that. And what we're doing this year, we're going to go to Mikey Neal here, see if we can go back a little ways. As watching right there, the caution is just about to come out, like literally right here. He was ahead of him in the corner when the caution came out, and he did complete the pass. So right there was the pass for the lead. Well, you're going back there and watching that caution. What a battle there, and Mikey Neal will beat him off pit road as well.
Yeah, that was a heck of a battle, and Alex Upman was about to stick his nose in there and make that a 3-way battle, and he thought better, but I thought Alex Upman showed some great restraint there, and maybe even cut Mikey Neal a little bit of slack there towards the end. Mikey Neal was just, it looked like Alex Upman could have pinned him on the inside and actually taken that position on the straight, but then they would have been forced in an awkward position there. So thought Alex Upman had some great restraint there, a lot of patience there, which is something you probably don't hear talked about a lot at Bristol. And Bristol requires a ton of patience, and that's when I race Bristol, that's usually what I don't have enough of, and probably my Achilles heel. So thought that was a pretty good first run there by Alex Upman.
Yeah, definitely was a good run. As Jeff Pogo on the tail end. No, correction. He is not on the tail end. I didn't think he was a lap down by any reason. He actually stayed out. So he is your race leader now. 15 laps on those tires. So this could get very interesting. Let's see if those old tires are going to hold off. I would be willing to bet, if I was a betting man, I'd go to Vegas on this, that Mikey Neal, Jamir Muhammad, even Alex Huffman are probably going to be able to get by him pretty quickly on those older tires.
Well, we'll see. You know, I'm surprised more guys didn't stay out. Track position key, we only got 15 laps on these tires. Again, you know, Jeff Pogo goes from the back of the pack to the front of the pack here. If he holds that wall, you know, we said we got a few laps where Mikey Neal, Jamir Muhammad, and these guys can probably make that bottom stick. I don't think he'll be that far off pace. But yeah, he may lose 3 or 4 spots, but it's still a net gain of quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely is. As we're about to find out as we are racing once again here on lap 17 of 200. And we'll see Mikey Neal gets by him very quickly. Didn't even lead that lap. And here comes Austin. Alex Hoffman is going to get by him. Jamir Muhammad's going to get by him.
39 going around Roger Muth. We got damage caution coming out.
Oh, and 3 cars getting 99 gets involved, as well as the 48 again. And we have 3 cars smoking.
Yeah, Jeff Pogo scraped the wall there too, which allowed those guys all to run by him. Mikey got by, and then Jeff Pogo got into the wall, so that's not a great way to get track position. But Roger Muth looked like he spun sideways. I think that's what brought this caution out.
Yeah, we're going back to watch the replay camera there. He scrapes the wall, collects the 21 a little bit. The 99 gets involved, and then the 48 of Jack Feller's nowhere to go but right into the back bumper of the 39. 3 good trucks here smoking pretty heavily. That is not what you want this early in there. If you're smoking that bad, again, they do not have fast repairs, so that may be 3 trucks out of this race.
Yeah, without fast repairs, I've given up on the broadcast booth trying to decide how much damaged smoke is anymore. So many times I see these trucks smoke and they go in and come right back out a few minutes later. So not sure, but at any rate, he's going to go several laps down regardless with that kind of damage. And not what you want when it takes about 30 seconds to pace a lap here.
Yeah, it definitely is. And they're still on pit road, so they're about to go a lap down here. So we'll see. They all did drive in under their own power. Note also the 22 of Jeff Pogo going down pit road this time. So he is going to make a pit stop. And it looks like Jared Hagedorn is going to go in as well, I do believe. Nope, correction, he did not. He is still out there. I thought he was going in. That will put Mikey Neal at the lead here. He was already there. He passed him very quickly, but now he will start actually at the front of this race, so nobody to pass to try to gain the lead. He's already there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm showing Mikey Neal, and I'm not sure, these timing screens are never accurate, but every update you always wonder if they get them. With a few incident points, I'm wondering if Mikey Neal didn't get into the wall a little bit. I might take a look and see if I can see if he's got any damage there.
Yeah, I'm showing that too. It looks like quite a few. I don't think it's too accurate. And I think this might carry over from practice as well. So we'll see here. We'll zoom in just a little bit if we can. And I'm not seeing any damage on that truck. It looks fairly clean. At least on the left side of the truck. Be the right side facing us. And I don't see too terribly much on the right side of that truck either towards the wall. It looks fairly clean.
Yeah, I don't either. And he was running that bottom line, so you wouldn't expect that he got on the wall, but he might have pushed up into somebody like Jameer or something when he was trying for the lead, but Jameer doesn't show any incident points. So I think we're pretty good there. I'm betting you're right that we're carrying this over from qualifying, because I see Jack Fellers and Mikey Neal both have incident points in qualifying, 2-point incident. So I suspect that's where it came from.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm keeping track is because incident point limit is a real concern tonight at a track like this. It's really easy to rack up enough incident points to kick you out of the race. Just by nature, getting in the back of people and having people get in the back of you.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to rack up too many incident points here. It's a bad thing. I mean, it's always bad, but again, it can get you DQ'd from the race. And with 200 laps, you have plenty of time to rack them up. As we'll see, green flag is back in the air. Mikey Neal gets a huge jump. But Alex Huffman and Jeremy Evans side by side for second place. And then you have Jamir Muhammad like a shark in the back, just waiting for either one of them to make a mistake, and he's going to pounce.
Yeah, you got 3 wide there. Bryson Barker trying to get inside the 13, who was in a 2-wide battle of his own. I think Cody Levitt pulled out of that probably wisely. Bryson Barker with some aggressive moves to get up front, and we told you right out the gate, he's probably going to have something to say about the battles up front before this race is over. But Mikey Neal is really starting to gap Alex Huffman and Jeremy Evans, who are still running side by side back there.
Yeah, those two are just not giving up right now, and they have a lot of cars pushing them, or trucks pushing them, as Jamir Muhammad, James Zarello, all pushing the 4 up on the high side right now. And again, draft not going to be that big of a factor, if any, here. But having someone push you definitely can't hurt you. It will probably give you a little bit of momentum. I don't think it's going to give you a whole lot. But obviously it's doing something here, as the 4 is able to actually completely clear the 83 of Alex Huffman, and now the 14 does it as well.
Yeah, it's not the pushing, Charles. It's what we talked about, those tires giving up the ghost. They got 14 laps on these tires now, even though some are under caution. He's not able to just, he's got to slide it a little bit, running that low line in the corner, so these guys are killing him. Look at him come off that corner. Everybody's palacing Alex Huffman there. He got pinned to the inside. when those tires gave out and he couldn't pass anymore on the low line, and he's going to lose all those places to everybody that got up in that high line there. And again, it ended up costing him about 4 spots. And that's what we talked about. Once those tires give and we lose grip on that low line, you are trying real hard to work that outside, and it's real hard to make passes here. And Alex Huffman's going to have some work cut out for himself now.
And Jameer Muhammad just scraped the wall, and earlier so did the 38 of Cody Levitt. As we've seen that already quite a few times here. People sort of scrape that wall. Hopefully they're not getting any major X's.
84 get into each other. 84 puts it in the wall, but able to recover it there.
What a battle these guys are doing right now. As it's just literally right now you have second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and even seventh back here battling in this one group. There are 6 different trucks battling, and they are literally nose to tail right now. Just one after the other making a train going around this track, waiting for somebody to make a mistake so they can pass. Meanwhile, Mikey Neal currently 2.566 seconds ahead of this group.
Yeah, they are trying hard, but real hard to get any momentum. Almost need somebody to scrape the wall. We see Jameer Muhammad trying to get Jeremy Evans on the inside, but Jeremy Evans just too much speed coming down the straightaway on that high line. As long as he doesn't bobble his line, Jameer Muhammad not going to be able to get by him there. As you see, Jameer Muhammad now loses a spot to Bryson Barker as well. And Alex Huffman probably going to suck up to close that door. Jameer Muhammad going to get pinned down there and lose some spots just like we saw Alex Huffman do earlier. So there's the problem with trying to make that pass and failing. You get pinned on the inside. And once those tires are gone, there's just it's a one-way ticket back to the first slot that's open.
Yeah, it really is. You know, this is tire wear is the problem here. Is why he's going down. But it's almost like a mini super speedway when it comes to the freight train when you're on the bottom with those old tires. You get down there and, they just freight train you on the outside. Usually it's the outside that gets freight trained at like Daytona, Talladega. But it has nothing to do with tires, just not having anyone up there to help you. But here, once you get down there with those old tires, they literally freight train by you, and Jameer Muhammad has fallen from 3rd all the way to 7th now.
I don't know if you saw that move by Bryson Barker to get by Jeremy Evans, but what a fantastic move. Jeremy Evans was looked like he was being a little bit shy getting into the corners and coming off the corners. He was trying to diamond it down just a little bit and diamond it in. Bryson Barker showed his nose up there once and wasn't able to complete it. And on the very next corner, Jeremy Evans came down just a little bit, and Bryson Barker was actually able to slip between him and the wall. Ride that wall around the corner, forced Jeremy Evans down low, and we watched him just go end up getting sailed all the way to the back of this pack because he got pinned down low. But that was just a veteran move by Bryson Barker. Fantastic driving there.
Yeah, definitely a veteran driver here. As this kind of group has spread out just a little bit here, they're about a car to 2 car lengths off each one of them, dividing them. So let's go a little bit further back here. Jeff Poga, one we saw up at the front earlier, he has led 3 laps because of not going in. He's back in 10th place right now. Not a bad strategy here. He is currently 10 seconds behind, so he is in jeopardy of going a lap down if we don't see a caution. Only 5 seconds separating him from the leader right now on this track.
Yeah, he's the last car on the lead lap right now. And Mikey Neal's got him by roughly a second a lap here. So half a second to a second a lap. So Jeff Pogo probably in jeopardy here in about 10 laps of going a lap down. As we see Roger Muth drop another lap down. He's one of those guys that got caught up in that early wreck.
And
Damian Leininger coming on the track too.
Yeah, so a few guys coming in. Justin Starr coming back onto the track. Good news for them, their night is not done yet. After they were just pretty much spraying for mosquitoes out there, all 3 of those were at one point. They're back on the track again. So it did take them nearly 8.5 minutes worth of repairs. They are back on the track. The bad news is if they get caught up in anything else, their night probably will be done. And I'm not sure if they're quite on pace here, or Justin Starr may just be letting these guys by.
Yeah, we got our two guys that we talked about. We're probably maybe our better short track drivers here. Mikey Justified Neal continues to widen his lead. He's got Bryson Barker right now by about 2/10 of a second a lap. He's pulled a 4-second gap on Bryson Barker and continues to grow it. Alex Huffman, though, in third place, not losing Bryson Barker, kind of hanging pretty tough there. James Larillo also, who had the fast qualifying time and had to start in the back, all the way up to P4, and he's clocking times on pace with Bryson Barker and Alex Huffman right now, as well as Cody Levitt, a little bit further back, but he's keeping pace with these guys too.
Yeah, it definitely is. So this little group is still nice right here. Go a little further back. We'll try to get to them anywhere. If we can find that group. There we go. You got Jeremy Evans, Jameer Muhammad, who's back in 7th place. Ever since falling back there, he just hasn't been able to kind of rebound and get back to the front. And actually, the 4 and the 14 have really fallen off compared to the rest of that group. The 38, the 13, the 83, and the 54, or the 84, sorry. Once those tires really started to get worn out here, those 4 there really kind of stepped it up, and they've actually pulled away from these other 2. So I'm not sure if those guys maybe have conserved a little bit more, which is very odd, as you usually see the 14 of Jameer Muhammad really good at conserving, unless he's conserving enough right now on tires that he's this slow, or not even slow really, but this far back, he really may be conserving more than everybody.
Well, we got a couple things. Number one, Mike Neal's pointing out in chat that a couple of these guys hit the wall, although aerodynamics not really an issue here. Banging up the wall unless you get severe damage might slow you down that lap. Don't think it's going to hurt you too much. But one of the things that happened to both the 14 and the 4 is they got pinned down on the inside after those tires went, which meant that they were just really burning those tires up down there. They were having to run down there probably a little harder than they wanted, and they may have not only those tires give up on them, but they may have just abused them. The tires will get hot down there in that row and lose a lot of grip, and it's pretty easy to wear them down there too. So chances are getting pinned down there in those old tires is probably what has these guys with a little bit less tire now than the rest of this crew.
Yeah, definitely. Those tires just get worn out so quick here. Going a little further back here, want to check in with these guys. Roger Muth back on the track. Justin Starr out on the track as well. Damian Leininger on the track with heavy damage still is. Dennis Ellis currently 15 seconds back, as there he is going into the corner.
We got Alex Huffman getting into the wall there, trying to compete a pass on lap traffic. James Larillo tries to get out inside of him, and I think Cody Brent Levitt then got into the back of him and spun him around.
Well, let's go back and let's take a look here at the replay camera, see what happened. His caution is out here on lap number 61. As we'll watch this, and there you see 83 and the 13 trying to get by the 22 of Jeff Pogo. Oh, and there it is. Actually, let's go back and take another look at that and see what happened here from a blimp camera. I actually think the 13 may have got into him.
Yeah, the 13 did. He was trying to clear the lap traffic there of Jeff Pogo on the 22. Now, if you're those guys running around the lap in those old tires, you'd like to see lap traffic take it to the inside. They may not be comfortable there, though, so they tried to make the pass on the inside, and it looked to me like maybe James Larillo had run Alex Huffman down and had was wanting to make a pass there real soon and didn't want to lose that track position passing that lap car. So may have pushed a little bit, slid up on the track, got into the lap car a little bit, or the lap car came down. Hard to say, but at any rate, got into that rear quarter of James Larillo, and it turned him right into the 83 of Alex Huffman, who's got a lot of black smoke coming out now. So two of our faster trucks look like they might be about done here.
Yeah, well, definitely not what we want to see. As Jeff Pogo's on pit road, so is the 13 of James Larillo. So let's go back here to our main camera and see who all is on pit road, who didn't go out, and it looks like everybody did come down pit road, with the exception of Justin Starr and Damian Leininger. Those guys did not come down pit road. 17 laps on those tires. They are currently, Damian Leininger 26 laps down, Justin Starr 25 laps down, so they'll at least get one of their laps back here, get a wave around, and they may come in after that. We'll see, but Mikey Neal still being scored as your race leader, but like you said, two very fast drivers potentially out of this race, and I definitely think Alex Huffman on pit road for 1:30. He's 3 laps down now, so probably we can't 100% say this because we could have quite a few more cautions and he could get those laps back, but there's probably about, I'd say, at least 30 to 40, if not maybe even 50% chance that his chances of winning this race have pretty much come to an end here tonight. Same for James Zarello.
Yeah, you know, the good news is aerodynamics aren't going to help you a whole lot here. They are going to help you. Your hitting speeds 130, 140 miles an hour. Yes, the aerodynamics going to come into play a little bit, but usually not so much as to make you a bad car versus a good car. The bad news is they're going to be so many laps down by the time they get back out on track. They would need a lot of cautions to catch back up, and you know, there's only 7 cars left on the lead lap right now. So you got Jeff Pogo 1 lap down, Dan Butler 3 laps down, Alex Huffman already 4 laps down, and you know, he's still in the pits. So he would need those other 2 guys to get back up on the lead lap before Alex Huffman himself, and James Zarello's in that same boat. Either one of those guys could start taking laps off on cautions with lucky dogs. Now maybe they can take some wave arounds as we're getting ready to go again here, it looks like.
We are. Green flag is out once again. Mikey Neal on the gas pedal, and we got a word from Alex Huffman. 31 minutes worth of repair, so definitely with already a quarter of the race done, we're going to be at lap 100 here before you know it. I really do think, unfortunately, his night is done, and I would be willing to bet that James Zarello probably has roughly about the same amount of damage as he even hit harder.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear, in chat, I threatened to pick Huffy, but I did not pick Huffy tonight, so no blaming the broadcaster curse on that one.
And we didn't pick anybody here for that matter, so that was our bad, but we'll just assume he thought about picking you in his mind, and we'll go with that one. Again, no broadcaster curse. We did not pick anybody here tonight. So interesting enough, I don't think we needed to pick anyone. It's Bristol. you know, crap's gonna happen here at Bristol's. You know, that's just the nature of the beast here. They don't call it the last great Coliseum for nothing. It's just a product of racing in this track. You know, there are a lot of bent fenders and really bent tempers as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happens here. And it is such a hard track to drive fast. And you really, I mean, you probably got to have thousands of laps in here before you're comfortable running this wall. And we talk about the banking. I don't know how high our resolution is tonight, Charles, but can we see the seams on the broadcast in the track? I think we can.
I believe we can.
So where those seams are, we have banking transitions. So we see at regular tracks, right, when a car gets maybe a tire down under an apron or something, they put that front tire down there, they get loose. Well, because there's different bankings, and it's a little bit less than an apron would be, but we'll see tires, right, when you enter that corner there. If you really want to see somebody that's running the Highline well, look at Jameer Mohammed or look at Bryson Barker. They stay above that seam. They're not dipping those tires down there. And, you know, they're not getting loose, whereas a lot of these other guys are kind of riding the middle of that seam a lot. And it'll get them loose, and it'll feel wiggly. It doesn't feel stable. Then they lose confidence getting up there against that wall. And so to be able to sail it in high above that seam, then ride that sucker right up the wall in the center of the corner, pull it back down, pay attention to where the seams are, not get loose on that banking transition. It takes a lot of laps to feel comfortable doing that. So, you know, it really is a tough track to put a bunch of guys on and have some guys be fast and comfortable doing that. Some guys are still trying to feel that out, and you know, the end result sometimes is we get a few banged up trucks.
Yeah, and something I want to point out here is we're doing a little digging here for the facts for this race. We just want to point this out, that your leader right now, the 8 of Mikey Neal, has obviously now led 63 laps. That's important because we want to throw this fact in there. When they came to Bristol in the Xfinity on race number 7 earlier in the year, Mikey Neal finished 23rd, 120 laps down, and he actually was out of the race quite early in it, as it also was a 200 lap race, so he only completed 80 laps. He's coming up shortly. He will have led nearly 80 laps. So a huge turnaround for Mikey Neal to go from being only completing 80 laps to now leading almost 70.
Yeah, he's got another short track veteran on his tail here, Bryson Barker. But so far, through those first couple of runs, Mikey Neal pretty much flawless. He runs that low line till the tires give up, and then he jumps up there, and you know, on that high line, heck, he was gapping everybody there. I realized cars were battling behind him, but nobody was running him down. If you look at him now, he's about ready to catch Justin Stargin here and put him another lap down as well.
Yeah, and you know, to look at our top 3 right now, just not to give any disrespect to any of the other drivers, but you have Mikey Neal, Bryson Barker, Jamir Muhammad. For short track racing, those are 3 powerhouse drivers right there in your top 3 that you could never, either one of them or 3 of them could easily win this race. Obviously, Mikey's out front right now, but we still have over half the race to go, so I would never count out Bryson Barker or Jamir Muhammad, who's sitting in 3rd place right now. But Cody Levitt in 4th, putting on a terrific run, and so is Jeremy Evans.
Yeah, Cody Levitt having a great run here tonight. You know, and we talked about the 3 drivers up front there, and we talked about them at short tracks. Just to be honest here, you know, we kind of talk about the big 4 drivers in this, and that is, we got 4 drivers, you know, kicking in here around 4,000 to 5,000 an iRating, who, you know, usually are the guys that are battling for the wins here. They're kind of the big 4, and it's not just the short tracks, it's the big tracks, it's the intermediate tracks. These guys are excellent drivers, even out there, not just, you know, against this crew, but even out there in the public servers. We've seen them out there just whooping up on everybody. So these are 4 excellent drivers. Austin Edstrom not here tonight, so we've only got 3 of them in this race. And then, you know, we've kind of got another crew of drivers that we've got some really good drivers right in there behind them that are capable of giving them a fight for their money any night of the week. Alex Huffman being one of those, Jeremy Evans being one of those. You know, we see Cody Levitt driving like he's one of those tonight. Guys just constantly evolve, constantly get better. So one of the reasons it's not the same guys every week. A lot of these guys work real hard at this, and we just see improvement every week of the season in these drivers. So it's part of what makes calling these guys so fun.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Jeremy Evans is one of those. He first came in here, and I mean, he came in a blaze of glory. He came straight to the front when he joined the league, and he proved he was someone to force to be reckoned with in this series. And in the last week or so, he kind of faded a little bit there. But he has found what he had when he came in here, running 5th place. He's back up at the front where we saw him when he first got started. So, you know, definitely maybe he had a track or 2 that he just didn't care for too much. But he is back here running 5th at Bristol. And I also want to note here, too, as typical with Bristol, some of this was due to cautions. But as we've seen before here at Bristol, there are only 7 cars on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, you know, we've had a few cautions. We got a lot of damaged cars. And we got Mikey Neal, who's just knocking them down. I mean, he's just out there putting them down. Some of these guys are not laps down because they were wrecked. Some of these guys are laps down just because Mikey Neal's put them laps down. Yeah, he continues to open up his lead on Bryson Barker, and you know, Jamir Muhammad, ever since he gave up that initial lead on the pole, really hasn't threatened. And we were kind of waiting to see what Bryson Barker did when he got up there, but he's going to have to figure something out if he's going to catch Mikey Neal, because Mikey Neal's kind of got this field here right now, and you know, they're going to have to figure some way, you know, whether it's track position, maybe a pit strategy call, or you know, fix their line or something. But Mikey Neal's kind of running away with this right now.
He is indeed, as he puts another one down, and Bryson Barker gets into the outside wall there just a little bit, almost gets into it again, as now there are actually only 6 cars on the lead lap. The last car is John Van Varelis, and we'll see, he may be coming a lap car here shortly, as Mikey Neal is starting to reel him in, and it doesn't help John Van Varelis at all that he's got the 99 and the 21 that he's battling with. While those guys are not on the lead lap, he is having to get around them, and while he's doing that, even if they let him by fairly easy because he's a lead lap car, that's still going to let the 8 of Mikey Neal catch him.
Yeah, and you know, interesting to say, every once in a while Mikey Neal does something that makes me feel a little bit silly here. In 39 laps in this run, he's actually running the bottom of the corner here, so I don't know if they're getting a little bit too much rubber laid down on that top line, and the track's starting to heat up or not. But now he's out there, maybe just testing with some solo laps, but he was laying down the fastest lap times running the bottom there just a few laps ago, and he goes right back down there when he clears his traffic here. So not used to seeing guys do that 40 laps in a run, but Mikey Neal's not only making it work, he's making it work better than anybody else.
Yeah, he is laying out some very fast times here. As not sure what happened to Bryson Barker. He is out of the race. I'm wondering if he hit that incident limit.
Bryson Barker, I'm showing pit stop. I'm not sure what happened. See if I can't go back and figure that out.
He is there. Yeah, he was for 3.8 seconds and disconnected. So something happening there to our second place driver. As I didn't even notice while you're looking that up. I was actually just about to say, in the Bristol race again earlier at the Xfinity cars, he actually had the fastest time of a 15.209 on lap 2. So he actually had the fastest lap, and now all of a sudden something happened there with the connection, or I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, I went back and watched. Bryson Barker just pulled it over. Something probably going on at his house. It was deliberate driving in the pits. There wasn't an accident or any damage, so he just drove it straight into the pits and disconnected. So it was deliberate. It wasn't looking like it was anything that he was upset about or that he'd had any damage. He was looking to get out of the race and not cause any issues for anybody. So we'll have to probably wait till next week to find out what happened.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, he's still here in TeamSpeak, so we'll see if we can send a message down to him and see what happened. It's definitely a very interesting just automatic lead there, but giving up second, so that's going to benefit a lot of people right now. Obviously, now Cody Levitt's the third fastest driver out there on the track anywhere, or at least the third place car anyway. So that's a podium finish if he can hang on to it, as we are just over halfway. Obviously, Jamir Muhammad is benefiting it. He gained a spot. And Mikey Neal really benefiting from it, because now that's one less really fast driver that he has to worry about.
Yeah, and nothing against anybody on here, but looking at the first half of this race, Bryson Barker was the only one that even looked like he might be able to kind of make a charge at Mikey Neal. He was the only one that looked like he had anything for him. And with him off the track, you know, there's a long ways to go. We'll probably have more cautions. We'll have some track position changes. But as things look right now, Mikey Neal's probably smiling a little bit, thinking he's got another one here, or a good shot at having another one here. Yeah,
be interesting. So again, we're still trying to get figure out what happened to Bryson Barker. We know he did just disconnect, but not sure what exactly did happen. So hopefully we will be able to figure that out shortly here. It was very different. But Mikey Neal out front, 115 laps led. What I do want to point out here, though, is this stint that we're on right now, 53 laps, 6 to be 54. With our pit window, 70 to 75 laps. This is the first time tonight we have a shot of making it to a green flag stop. And this could get very interesting because you have to go from 100, roughly 100.
Oh, that one just went out the window right there. We got a car going around on the track, going to bring caution out.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Jared Hagedorn bringing out the caution, and apparently I probably should not have said anything.
Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking there, Charles. And it was about time. I think we were in about 10 or 15 lap window probably to when you were going to see guys start pitting. If they were splitting up that run, and at most they probably had about 20 laps left on these tires. So Jared Hagedorn with the spin there, I haven't seen what caused it yet, but it looked like he was running solo, so it's probably a self-spin or clipped the wall there.
Yeah, so we just back went and watched it. It was just came out of the turn, scraped the wall, and those tires are just so old now that scraping that wall, he was unable to recover after coming off the wall, just spinning it around there. Not much he could do about it. The older those tires get, the less control you have when it does start spinning. Unfortunate, but the caution is out as we are on lap 118 of 200, so we are not really in the closing laps, but as fast as these laps are going to go, we are in the closing stage of this race as we're past the halfway point.
Yeah, and Mike, the 8 did pit. We expect everybody to pit here. They were at the end of a tire window here, pretty close, so can't imagine anybody's going to stay up. Expect they're all going to take foreign fuel.
Yeah, I definitely expect them to. And here we go. We do have Mikey Neal. Did he pit right before that caution came out? I don't think he did, but he is being shown.
He pit. This is so almost the entire field is a lap down, so they got to go around again. There's only about 3 or 4 cars in the lead lap, so those guys pit first, and then these other guys came back in.
That was explained it while we were watching the replay. They came in and pit. Again, this track goes to show you right there. It even got me a little confused there. This track is so small that they were able to pit while we were watching the caution there. So again, you're right here as we're looking only 5 cars on the lead lap. It's showing Jared Hagedorn 2 laps down. He may get one of those. I thought he was going to go 1 lap down. But if it does stay 2 laps down, that means only 1 lap will be given back. So we're going to start this with only 5 cars on the lead lap. We're going to have a lot of single file restart here if that's the case.
Yeah, so if you're involved in the caution, which Jared Hagedorn was the caution, you do not get the lucky dog. So the lucky dog should go to Jeff Pogo here and put him back 2 laps down, and then Jared Hagedorn will remain 2 laps down. And if for some reason Jeff Pogo got caught up on that, that would go to Dan Butler.
So it's going to be interesting here to see how this one finishes out. Again, hopefully before this is over, before we go home tonight, well, I guess we're all technically home, but anyway, before this race ends, hopefully we'll figure out what happened to Bryson Barkers. We're still trying to figure out there. We have sent down a message to him, but got no response back. So something drastic had to have happened. He's too good of a driver to just decide to quit a race, especially when running second. But the lights are already off on the pace car, so we're getting ready to get this thing green again.
Yeah, absolutely. Mikey Neal choosing to take the outside, and he's off as soon as the pace car pulls off, and immediately starts to put a gap there on Cody Levitt.
Yeah, and the good thing for these guys right now, I don't think anybody is going to opt to take no tires, maybe 2 tires. The good news is for these guys up front right now, if we get in the closing laps and we have a caution with, say, 5-6 laps to go, or 10 laps to go, and somebody does come down, you could try to maybe chance it, especially if you're 5th place. That's the worst you're going to go. So we'll see how that goes. If there's very few cars on the lead lap when we get there, you may see somebody possibly make a risk that they normally wouldn't take.
Well, with only 5 cars on the lead lap, it's a little bit harder to stay out there in tires because you're only going to gain at most 4 or 5 spots in track position. And if you're out there on those older tires, we talked about probably losing 3 or 4 or 5 spots on the start. So probably not a lot of net gain staying out there on old tires with if you're only battling 4 or 5 guys. Now, if we can get a couple more guys back on the lead lap, and I think John Van Verillis got the lucky dog in the last one, which put him back on the lead lap. I'm not sure. I think that's what it was. But if we can get a couple more guys back on the lead lap, maybe we'll start talking about some tire strategy some more. But right now, as long as we get out there and get 10, 15 laps on these tires, I would imagine guys are going to pit every time.
Yeah, and keep in mind, we are now 10 laps into this stint here on lap 128. You go back here to John Van Verillis, again, 10 laps in. He's already 5, almost 6 seconds behind the leaders. So give him, 20 more laps. They'll probably be on his back bumper threatening him for a lap down to put us at 4 cars on the lead lap. Then it would be Jamir Muhammad possibly in that, but Jamir's only 2.7 seconds behind. I'm really curious if he would actually be a threat to go a lap down here. I don't think we've ever seen Jamir in this high of a position going a lap down before, so this would be something new.
Well, it's let's just say Mikey has the field by 0.2 a lap, which is about where he's had when these guys get running green right now. He's only got them by about 1/10 a lap. So you're talking 10 laps to gain a second at 1/10 a lap. 0.2 a lap, you still need 5 laps to gain a second on somebody, and you got 15 seconds to make up to put them a lap down. So I'm guessing something happened on the restart. Somebody scraped a wall or something and had a real slow lap there to go 3 or 5 seconds back already. At even a half second a lap, you'd still need 30 laps to put somebody down, and I don't think Mikey has Jamir by a half second a lap yet.
Yeah, I don't either. Right now, 4.5, and that gap just did grow by 1/10, and that was about what we expect as a 1/10 a lap. So he is crushing in. That time it went to 3.8 from 3.5, and Jamir there did just scrape the wall. So a lot of wall scraping must be going on back here that we're not seeing, as Jamir did just scrape there, and it went to 5.1 seconds. So obviously right now that truck is just not handling the way Jamir wants it to.
Yeah, it's a real tough. We talk about this being. I call it our rhythm track because it goes so fast. You can't really think about it. We talked about watching the seams. We talked about internet highline, letting that truck float off, and then you got to really sail the truck into it, right? You can't be gingerly about it. You got to drive it in there and just know that banking is going to catch you. It's going to stick. You're going to drift up a little bit in the center of the corner, and then you're going to, drive the heck out of that truck getting it off the corner. I mean, you're going to drive it right down that hill. Again, pay attention to the seams when you're turning that corner coming off. If you're getting loose, maybe you're trying to straighten out your line a bit. But for the most part, in the time I took to say that, you've probably completed 2 laps. So
yeah.
You really just got to have a rhythm here. And then, on top of that, one end of this track is narrower than the other, and you probably don't get that perspective watching this race. But turns 3 and 4 are tighter. It's a smaller radius. It's really not. They're not symmetrical on the ends. And we talked about losing track of where you're at on this track. You forget where you're at, and you get to that corner that's tighter, and you drive it like the corner that's wider. The next thing you know, you're clipping the wall coming out at the start-finish line, which is why you see so many guys bouncing off the wall right at the start-finish line, because they overestimate it, get on the throttle too hard coming out. It's that tighter corner. Oops, I forgot. Bam, I'm in the wall by the start-finish line, sends me down the hill spinning and back up on the track, and we got a caution.
Yeah, and, talking about those corners not being the same, a lot of people, like we talked about in the pre-race show, they talk about how Bristol's the fastest half mile. Well, technically, that is not true. It is actually 0.533, which obviously you have different corners. It is not a true half mile. Yes, people call it a half mile, but it's not. It's actually a little bit bigger than a half mile. Which is why we're running 107 miles versus 100 miles at 200 100 laps, because it is not a true half mile. And it's just a, it's not a true half mile. You got different corners here, a lot of banking in here, which is why it's fast, and it really does produce some good racing. Right now, not so much. These guys have really kind of spread out, as we do have some battling going on, but there's some lap cars and lead lap cars all mixed together in here.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cars mixed together. It's to get caught up and all that, and forget that we just got a heck of a race going on. Mikey Neal not getting away from Cody Levitt here. Surprisingly, Cody Levitt absolutely hanging with Mikey Neal, maybe even closing that gap a little bit right now. Of course, I believe Mikey Neal's probably saving tires a little bit. And I've got a question here about Cody Levitt, wanting to know where he started, and he started towards the back. Cody Levitt started in 10th place tonight.
He did indeed start in the back of this thing, or at least pretty darn close to it. As if I'm looking, yeah, he didn't have a EOL, but he did. That's what I was making sure he didn't. But yeah, you're right. He started in 10th, so not quite all the way at the back, but still quite a ways back. So a good run for him to be in second place right now. And that gap has now increased from 0.8 to 1.2. As look close here at the 38, I think he may have scraped the walls. I don't know, he does maybe have a little bit of damage to the right side we're about to see. I just couldn't get a good look at it, but I think he may have scraped the wall.
Yeah, and I'm noticing these guys are starting to kind of move back down the track a little bit, entering and exiting these corners as the run goes on. So I'm wondering if these trucks aren't just getting a little bit tight on them here. But I've watched Jameer Muhammad, who was pretty religious. He and Bryson Barker earlier about staying above that top seam, getting into the corners, which of course they scraped the wall a few times, but they were very, it was very intentional. You could tell they were doing that. Now I'm watching Jameer Muhammad come down and kind of split that seam a little bit, maybe loosen his truck up. I was watching Cody Levitt. He's actually running down to about the second lane, getting into some of these corners down. Of course, we got Mikey, who's been running that bottom lane a little bit.
Yeah, they have. So all over the place right now, these guys, they don't want to keep scraping the wall and damaging their truck. Every time they do, it puts them closer and further and further away from the leader. As now we have just under 50 laps to go. We'll take a look at our cautions real fast. 4 cautions for 14 laps. That is not bad at all here for Bristol. 47 laps to go. Will we see another caution? I think we might see at least one more. Maybe we won't. We'll see. What we do know here is if we don't, I think we're going to have at least one more green flag stop.
Yeah, if my estimates are right that I got my guys before the race, we are probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 5 laps short, which, maybe we can save here a little bit. Mikey's cutting the corners here. Maybe that's what he's doing here. I know his teammate said he's saving tires on the bottom. He can save them a little bit better, cutting the corners, getting in and getting off, and he's able to run that because he's able to float all the way back out to the wall in the straightaways right now, which is something you can't do when you're running too wide. But maybe he's cutting enough distance off, maybe saving a little bit of fuel there. If we don't get that caution, and that's a pretty big if right now, yeah, I think some of these guys are going to be, in the range of a few laps short. And it could make a very, very interesting finish, right? Stop and gas, or do I grab tires, or, do I split this run? Do I go in the middle of this run and short pit these guys and grab some tires so I got enough fuel, 2 tires, and enough fuel to get going? So still the potential for some strategy to shake some things up, and unless Mikey Neal self-destructs here, we're going to need a shake-up here to see somebody get the lead from him here.
Yeah, Cody Levitt 2.49 seconds behind. That is the closest person to Mikey Neal right now. You go back to Jeremy Evans in third, 4.8 seconds. 6.3 seconds. Jameer Muhammad 9.6. John Van Varellis currently 12.083 seconds. So John Van Verellis in 5th place is definitely in jeopardy of going a lap down. He needs a caution to regroup this field and stop him from going a lap down. Is in 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds. He will be the next victim of Mikey Neal. And it won't be shortly after that that I think you might see Jameer Muhammad in jeopardy there again.
Yeah, Jameer Muhammad really not having a good run this run, so not sure what happened. I mean, I think the run before this he wasn't doing great, but certainly wasn't off pace like he is. But I suspect he's had a lot of laps here where he clipped the wall, and I told you that he'd moved down a little bit getting into the corners. Maybe he just got tired of beating on the wall. That could be why too. But I'm a little surprised to see him 10 seconds off the pace right now.
Yeah, it is very interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if he actually goes the lap down. He's one of those, like John Van Verellis, that are on the lead lap. They would love to see a caution right now, for 2 facts. One, it would stop him from going a lap down. Excuse me. 2, that they're in their fuel window round. They could make it. If they came down, you can make it on fuel at this point. So, a caution would really be beneficial for the 14 of Jameer Muhammad and the 87 of John Van Verellis as far as lap goes. They would love to be on the lead lap when they can come down and pit, regroup this field a little bit, and have another shot at getting the lead. But, I just want to talk a little bit about Cody Levitt here. We always talk about him and what a run he's having in that 38 machine. In 2nd place right now, he has cut that lead again from 1.2 seconds to 0.8. Again, I'm not sure if he scraped the wall and he's picked it back up, or if Mikey Neal is conserving a little bit again.
I suspect Mikey Neal's conserving a little bit because we got confirmation in chat there from his teammate that we are correct. He is about 5 laps short on that fuel window, and so I suspect maybe they're working here a little bit to save some fuel. I can't confirm that. Alex Huffman's not giving us too many details there, but we do have confirmation they are just a little bit short on fuel. And Dan Dill asked me why it was so surprising. I think that Jameer Muhammad was possibly 10 seconds back. And Dan, if you don't follow this crew, maybe you don't know, but Jameer Muhammad has probably been, maybe until the last few races, the most dominant driver over the season, and certainly one of the top 4 drivers in this league. He is always up there for the lead, so it's quite surprising anytime we see him in jeopardy of being a lap down without serious damage.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's it's very surprising. He is he's in 4th place, so he's still. Thing is, he's not having a horrible run. It's just not handling the way he likes. Maybe he's just scraped the wall a few times, and it's cost him some time. But still, overall, 4th place, still a solid points night. As far as position-wise, not too far off of where we usually see him. Just the distance between him and the leader. We're used to seeing him up front and really dominating races, or being right there side by side with the leader for 2nd place. So it's just really the distance between them that is kind of surprising. And hopefully, he'll get into the top 3. Maybe we can have a talk to him, see what his thoughts were on the track.
Yeah, and so just watching the lap times there for a minute, I thought maybe we saw it looked like a whole group of guys had lap times fall off into the mid-16s, and they were running low 16s. So I'm watching Mikey Neal's lap times. I'm pretty sure he is saving fuel. I think he's paying attention to that gap between him and Cody Levitt there, and trying to keep it by a second there. And then I'm not sure that Cody Levitt's not doing the same thing, watching that gap between him and Jeremy Evans right now. So I'm seeing a wide variation in lap times, and a bunch of drivers dip down to the bottom of the track, and we're talking about variations when they're not even in traffic. So I think a lot of guys are trying to figure out how to save fuel right now, and we may have us a fuel mileage race.
Yeah, and he was actually talking about how he said it was surprising the 38 Cody was hanging in there with Mikey. I don't know if, Dan, if you were here for the beginning of the race when Mikey Neal was pulling away from this entire field by almost 4 seconds, I believe, at one point. He was really pulling away from the field. So for anybody to be keeping up with him right now is a little surprising as Cody Levitt comes down pit road.
Yeah, 38 has decided he does not have enough fuel. He's going to short pit. So we talked about this being one of the strategies that somebody might take. It looks like he might be taking 4 tires there. So I'm a little surprised on that. This feels like a slow pit stop. I don't think this is a short pit. I think something else is going on there. Did we miss something?
I don't think we missed anything there as he's coming out of pit road. 31.1 seconds on pit road. Something happened there. I'm not sure if he got a pit road speeding violation, had to hold for 15 seconds.
He was in his pit box for 30 seconds, so he did clip the cones. Maybe he got a hold there for that. I think you might be right. He might have got a 15-second hold on that. We'll have to get confirmation, but that short pit there cost him 2 laps, if indeed that's what it was.
Yeah, that would be.
Mikey Neal now with an 8-second gap to play with here for some fuel savings. I think he's got to have a big grin now from ear to ear right now.
Yeah, and note here too, John Venderillis did go a lap down. Now, unfortunately, I think the one of the cars here, if not the one, that I think could have had something for Mikey Neal of Cody Levitt. He was hanging in there. I think both of them were conserving a little bit. That, and again, 0.8 was the closest anybody had been to Mikey Neal. He is now 2 laps down. That has got to be devastating here. Good news is he's only in 5th right now, 2 laps down, but still detrimental as he was right there with Mikey Neal, and he was probably going to give him a run for his money.
Yeah, to ask Mike Neal's question, does a pit stop right now hurt or help the 88 or the 8? The answer is before John Venderillis, or not Jan, but Cody Levitt pit there, I would have said maybe it helps him because you give him a full tank of gas and 4 fresh tires here, and I think he drives away from the field again. However, with that 8-second cushion, there's a lot of gas that can be saved, and you can tell he's already been saving gas. I don't think they're going to catch him. I'm guessing that he might be able to save the 5 laps needed here, and I'm not sure that they can catch him if this thing stays green. So we'd have to ask Huffy, but I'm going to guess that they've got this figured out, and he's hoping it stays green.
Yeah, and getting a report there from Roger Muth, Cody in the 38, unsafe pit in, holds for 15 seconds, as we kind of figured something happened when he came down pit road.
Yeah, he hit that cone and kind of came on the outside of that cone, got in a little hot. I saw that and wasn't sure he was going to get the penalty there, but obviously he did. And that's unfortunate because I think Cody Levitt was having the best race we've seen him have this season. He was having a fantastic race there.
He definitely was, and Jeremy Evans in the 4 is on pit road. He has gone 2 laps down now, 8 laps to go. We'll see. Did the 8 of Mikey Neal and the 14 of Jamir Muhammad somehow save enough fuel to stay out on this track? As we are waiting to see here. Both of them have not come in yet, and looks like for the most part I don't think they're going to. As we're watching, they are the only 2 cars on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, and Mikey Neal looking like he's just about to put Jamir Muhammad another lap down here. So he's got a whole lap to play with for saving Phil here at the end, and it's probably not enough to get in there and do a stop and go just because of the 25 seconds to get in and out of pit lane. But he can run some pretty slow laps here. We got 5 to go, and he's got a 15-second lead, so he can actually drop about 3 seconds a lap right now and still probably hang on to that position, which would allow him to be out of throttle for probably half that lap or at least a third if he needed to.
Yeah, now 4 to go. Fixing to be 3 to go at the line. There it is. It is now 3 laps to go, and he is actually going to get passed by Jeremy Evans, and he's going to let the 38 by. No surprise there. You know he let them by. Why battle them? They're a lap down. Let them go get one of their laps back, if not 2 of them. And again, no surprise there that he would do so here, but we do have a caution.
Caution, that's going to end it.
That is going to end the race on the very close. We're on lap 199 as the 22 of Jeff Pogo goes around. We won't even go back and look at it. There's really no point. It ends the race. That will give the win to the 8 of Mikey Neal and Jameer Muhammad, the only trucks on the lead lap.
Yeah, assuming Mikey Neal doesn't run out of gas and can coast to the start-finish line, he's got this, but he's still got to make it, and his truck's still under power, so I don't see that as being a problem. Although he's running about 35 miles an hour. There it is. Mikey Neal is your winner at Bristol here tonight. Jameer Muhammad in second. Cody Brett-Levitt brings it home in third.
Yeah, he's just a few feet away, and I don't see why he won't make it. As right there, it is official. Mikey Neal bringing home the win here at Bristol Motor Speedway 200 laps later. And I believe we had very few cautions here, so we'll pull that up real quick. 5 cautions for 20 laps. So that means we were green for 180 laps. For here at Bristol, that is just outstanding.
Absolutely. Is Mikey, is he going to have enough left to do any burnouts for us?
Well, we're definitely about to find out. As while he does that, we'll go ahead and go through your unofficial race results. We had 16 drivers start the race, 17 that came here total. So we'll go ahead and go through it. Jeff, you want to run through our top 10 here tonight, and I will finish it up, and we'll get to the post-race show.
Absolutely. Bringing it home in first place, your winner, Mikey Justified Neal in that 8 truck. In second place, the 14 truck of Jameer Muhammad. In third place, the 38 of Cody Levitt. In fourth place, the number 4 truck of Jeremy Evans. Bringing it home in fifth, the 87 of John Van Verillis. In sixth place, we have the 21 of Dan Butler. In seventh place, the 22 of Jeff Pogo. In eighth place, the 3 of Damian Leiniger. In ninth place, the 99 of Justin Starr. And rounding out your top 10 was the 11 of Justin Ellis.
In 11th place will be the 2 of Jared Hagedorn. 12th place will be the 84 of Bryson Barker. Again, not sure quite what happened to him. 99 laps down. 13th place will be the 83 of Alex Huffman. 14th place will be the 13 of James Zarello. 15th will be the 39 of Roger Muth. 16th place will be the 48 of Jack Fellers, and 17th, not starting the race here tonight, will be the 42 of Ray Moss. As we're watching the 8 of Mikey Neal do a backwards lap around here at Bristol as he's celebrating before he does some burnouts. But that being said, we will step to a quick commercial break. We will be right back here with your post-race show. All right, we are back here once again with your post-race show from Bristol Motor Speedway, and coming in third place here tonight, that will be the 38 of Cody Levitt. First off, I think you really had second there. Obviously, you had to pit for some fuel, and then the penalty on pit road definitely hurt you. Had that not happened, I think you might have had a shot here at Mikey. We watched there, and again, everybody in here, especially the drivers here in the post-race show, I think had a good shot in here, but for the first half of the race, Mikey really pulled away, and then there in the closing part of the race, you were 0.8 away. You were definitely the closest driver to catching Mikey. Had that pit little incident happen on pit road, or you didn't have to pit, you think you would have run him down, because you were definitely getting there?
I mean, I think I might have. I have no idea, though. Like, I don't know, honestly.
Well, it was a good run here for you. Coming into tonight, we always like to find out, was this one of your favorite tracks that coming into the race? And if it wasn't, is it now?
I've always done well here. It hasn't been my favorite track, but I seem to do well. I guess I can say it's my favorite. It's one of my best.
Well, definitely, it's going to be a good points night for you here. We'll see if we can't pull those up before race anyway, pre-race. Coming in here, I'm not sure where you're at in the points. So you are back in 16th. So finishing ahead of a lot of people, this should definitely net you at least a position, maybe 2 or 3 in the point standings. Going into, we still have several races to go. It should be interesting once the drops do play effect in here to the point, so we'll be watching that. So again, we just want to give you a huge shout out, a very good third place finish here. That being said, any sponsors you need to give a shout out to, and anyone you just want to give a shout out to?
I want to give a shout out to Leo's Coney Island, iRacing Drivers World, Lake Erie Entertainment. Also, I want to shout out Roger Muth and Jeff Pogo and my team. All 3 of these are my teammates, and Jared Hagedorn. They're keeping me on this service, making me get better and stuff. So I'd like to thank them a lot.
All right. Well, again, congrats on third place, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again here shortly, as we do have still quite a bit of racing to go in this season, and we look forward to having you in the booth here once again. And that being said, finishing in second place, it seems like they're together quite often here. That is the 14 of Jameer Muhammad. So once again, we'll turn this interview over to Jeff.
Hey, Jameer, welcome back to the Jeff and Jameer post-race show. How's it going there, buddy? You got a copy?
I'm good, Jeff. I'm good. How's it going tonight?
Pretty good. I haven't talked to you for a few nights, so glad to have you back on our post-race show. You are the points leader in this truck series. We know, or at least I think I know, that historically maybe short tracks haven't been your strongest suit, and you're so good at the intermediate longer tracks. You're good at the short tracks too, but if there's been a weakness to your game, maybe it's been the short tracks. But you came in tonight, you looked good in practice, you took it straight to the pole. How confident were you feeling about tonight coming in here?
Not very good. Like you said, I'm not really a big fan of short tracks. I suck at it, and I thought it was a bonus that I got pulled tonight. I was shocked that I got that, and felt like I stole a pole from Mikey because I just kind of hit it right on that lap for some reason. And then as soon as the race started, Mikey was just way faster than me, and I was kind of rubbing the wall at a lot of places. So he passed me, within I think it was 15 to 17 laps just before that first caution, and that was it. I couldn't stay in front of him for the get go. So yeah.
Well, you started the race on the pole. We had that first caution come on. I don't know what it was, maybe 20 laps in or so, and you and Mikey Neal, I think, ran side by side there for all those laps. Mikey was just a little bit ahead of you because you were getting that run on the high side coming down the straightaways there when that caution came out, so he got the lead. And was finally able to get by you there. So we saw you hanging on to that high line. We saw you running that high line. You're one of the few drivers that really, I think you and Bryson Barker, we noted too, really didn't mind throwing it in right up there against that wall and just sailing it in. And now both of you guys had quite a few wall scrapes, but you guys continued to just drive it in there, very boldly, just like you have to do it here at Bristol on that high line and run that most of the race. So tell us what it was like running that high line. Talk to us about scraping the wall there a little bit. Did that hurt you or any of that there?
Yeah, I didn't scrape it too bad. It was very light bumps to the wall there. It's really a rhythm track to run the high line. Once you get in rhythm, you kind of hit it, and you can go like 15, 20 laps without like even, thinking you're that close to the wall. But I don't know. It seems like, Mikey kind of had a secret there under the bottom, because the bottom was really working at the get-go, and I just could not figure it out. I just cannot run the bottom as well as he did. I probably was just overdriving the corner. I just could not keep it down as low as he can, and I just kind of gave up. I was like, all right, I'm just going to run the high line because that's all I could do.
Yeah, I don't know how you run the low line either after you get about 15 or 20 laps on these tires. So
yeah, it was impressive.
I'm with you on that one. We'll hit Mikey up after the race, and it's his turn to give us some secrets there.
Yeah.
Obviously, we saw you got pinned a little bit on the low side, and that pack of cars kind of sent you back to the middle of the pack there a little bit. You worked your way back up to the front, but I think it was kind of obvious that I don't think anybody had anything for Mikey. I think when he wasn't saving, he was pulling away. But on that last run, we were a little slow to figure out what was going on. We thought maybe you'd taken some damage or we missed some wall scrapes. You were really running slow, but you had a strategy pretty much from the get-go on that run to save some gas. So tell us about that.
Yeah. Well, I restarted fourth. I missed the pit road for the first round when we came around pit road. So I had to pit on lap 2 there, and I guess it was kind of like, all right, I'll get extra fuel anyways and restart fourth. I was fourth out of fourth in the lead lap there, and I think John got his lap back, but he was at the back, so I was just like, it's so hard to pass. And Cody and Jeremy was both pretty fast, so I was like, I could try and push the issue here and try to pass them. Probably not going to work out. So I was like, I'm just going to save fuel from the get-go. And my goal really was not to go a lap down during that entire run and just hope that the top 3 ran out. And Mikey was just able to be fast and save. It was definitely a great showing for him. And I guess it's another race that we lapped the field, except for the 2 of us.
Well, congratulations. You managed to pull out a second-place finish, and so I know you got to be happy about that as a points leader, and I'm sure you got plenty of people to thank. I know your wife watches, your dad watches, so have at it, man. It's all yours.
Yeah. I'd just like to thank Leo's Coney's Island, iRacing Drivers World, Lake Erie Entertainment, and Global Building Contractors for sponsoring RACECORE. Shout out to you guys for broadcasting. Shout out to Mikey. Congrats on the win. And thanks for making us better.
All right, no problem. And thanks to you for bringing back at our show. And we'll go ahead and throw it up to Charles, who's got the winner.
I indeed do have our race winner here tonight, and that is the 8 of Mikey Neal. First off, as always, congrats on the win. How does it feel, and did you come here thinking you had a good shot to win, or was it kind of a luck that you were up there and then just ran with it?
I really like this track. It's been a really good track for me lately. So I definitely had high hopes coming into this race, and it was fun to say the least. And the one thing that I came in here knowing is that everybody's going to be on that top line because there's a lot of grip up there. So I've been working a little bit this week on trying to get something a little bit different from everybody else, and I figured out just kind of hook the apron around. So it's mainly just your throttle control and everything. And it's really tough to drive this track because it's you get too high and overdrive the corner. It's so easy to hit the wall here. And so going on the low side, I knew there wasn't going to be that much of a chance of me hitting the wall. So I tried to stay down there, but my big strategy was staying down there to avoid getting any contact with the wall. And it worked for me. And then at the beginning, I was just trying to get under Jameer, just see if I can maybe force him into a mistake, and he hit the wall right before the caution. And I think that was super, super lucky. I think he would have got the run back on the outside, but I was able to get there, and from then on, I mean, my truck was really, really good out front. Felt really comfortable tonight and didn't have any problems.
Well, definitely you had a great run here, collecting another win. I'm not sure how many this is in the trucks here, or if this is your first. I can't remember, to be honest. we cover so much stuff here, and 2 series here. It's we know you've won several races all together between the 2, but another great run here. I believe you're second in the points, if I am mistaken, and you did finish here ahead of Jameer and led the most laps, so you should get some bonus points and possibly gain on him a little bit in the point standings. So looking forward to the upcoming weeks here, and then the conclusion of the series. Are you looking forward to trying to run for that championship?
I mean, like I said, you never really know who's going to win these races and who's going to be anywhere. I mean, one bad race can affect your whole season. Obviously, we have drops, but that's a race that counts towards one of those drop weeks. So you want to do the best you can every single race, because you want to make those drops like 10th, 9th, 7th, and like 5th, and then the rest your top 5. And I mean, if you could do that over the course of a season, I mean, I think you're easy contention for the championship. So that's my goal as of right now. Obviously, I struggled a little bit earlier in the season, but lately I've just been I've been trying to rack up these top 5 finishes. And I mean, last week at Michigan, I think I was top 5. Here's top 5. Eldora top 5. So clicking off these top 5 finishes, it really helps my case, and hopefully, I can get some more wins this season. And it's going to be tough. Some really good drivers here. I know Cody was super fast on that last run. Jameer super fast. Bryson, James Lorello, Alex Huffman. They're all really, really good. And I mean, it's tough to get good finishes here. And but I think I had just a little bit of a better truck tonight, and that really helped me.
Well, definitely went your way here tonight. You get the win. You lead 185 laps. That being said, of course, we know you got some sponsors and shout-outs, so who would those be for that win here tonight?
But yeah, I got to thank KAM, Jack, Alex, Roger, and Austin, especially Alex tonight. He helped me a little bit with this track, and was my crew chief there for the end of the race. And just got to thank you guys for broadcasting. I love having you and Jeff to broadcast these races. We also got to thank iRacing Drivers World and Global Building Contractors. And we also got to thank the main sponsor, Leo's Coney Island. I got to thank my mom and dad for letting me race, and I know they're both watching, so I really thank that. And also, I'm kind of backed into the wall right now, so you can't really see it, but I carry a special name on this car. One of Papa's friends, his name is Tom. He sadly passed away from cancer this past week, so this win was for him, and I tried my hardest, and I know it'll make them feel a little bit better.
Well, definitely sad to hear that, but you put it in victory lane for him, so that is always a good thing to do. Again, congrats on that win. That being said, we need to thank all of our sponsors here. Of course, starting with the racing side of things, I want to give a big shout out to Lake Erie Entertainment, Global Building Contractors, iRacing Drivers World, and, of course, the presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, that is Leo's Coney Island out of Rochester Hills. If you're in the area, make sure you thank them and pick up some great food while you're at it. And, of course, on the broadcast side of things, we want to give a big shout-out to Walls Beard Co., Sim Speed Shop, Northwest Racing Series, Ohio IndyCar League, iBog, and, of course, presenting this post-race show, since we didn't get a pre-race show, that is Randy's Wraps here for the post-race show. We want to thank, again, all the sponsors partners that come on board for this series, and, of course, here for the broadcast. That being said, that will wrap it up here for tonight's broadcast. We will see you tomorrow night for the Upper Edge, and I'm not sure where we're actually at for this week's race, but make sure you check out our Facebook page, Virtual Racing Network. Go to virtualracingnetwork.net for the website if you need to contact us for anything, and of course make sure you check out the YouTube page as well, where we have all upcoming events listed under upcoming events, so check out that, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.